Hello, my name is Swara. Denver Meditation Center is an online interfaith temple, cultivating love and exploring spiritual practices. We offer ourselves in humility and strength to all that is sacred in these precious moments. Quiet, personal, meaningful, and transformative. Please guide us as we go within to increase our awareness. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Denver Flood and Fire. If you're moldy, wet, or your situation's dire, call Denver Flood and Fire. Please be sure to go to the comments for links to other events that Denver Meditation Center endorses. Anything from ecstatic dance, online or in-person experiences, to devotional singing, retreats, seminars, workshops, and I'll always be sure to let you know when I'm hosting a retreat or an event. And if I'm participating in an event, I'll also invite you to those as well. I'm excited to hear your story because I want to know more about you.
So I grew up in Argentina and I lived in Buenos Aires, Argentina, until I was 21 years old. And the environment, the culture there is very Catholic. But my family was a little bit unusual in the sense that yes, we did go to church, but my father was more of a mystic and he truly went into the depths of his spiritual life to the point that he left the religious dogma and really continued himself spiritually with a very profound connection to Jesus and to God. But there was an environment of repressions, especially around sexuality. And when I started becoming of age, something really didn't match for me. And I started to have questions to priests and nuns and people from my community in the church. And there was never an acceptable answer. I thought I would be a nun when I was a kid, but then what do I do with all my sexuality? How can I be a nun? So I had in me a lot of devotional qualities, but why not with sex? Why not be totally free? It just didn't. I think that's what happened to me. I came upon a seminar called The Intensive. I used to live in Florida. I heard about it, that it was being presented in San Diego, and my friend didn't even have to say anything. I just immediately paid for it. And, a month later, I was flying to San Diego, rented a car, and showed up at the seminar. And then I found finally, okay, now they're talking in a way that it's all inclusive, that doesn't deny any part of me.
Wow.
That was just the best thing that ever happened. I went there and I started to beg, and I think I had a begging desire to understand. I knew something in me, knew something that was true, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And that intensive gave me the opportunity to ask, to really say, okay, I need to find it. I need to find it. It's in me. I'm part of it. Where is it? And I think that internal passion, desire for truth attracts and calls for the response from God, from spirit. And it comes, and you feel it in your physical body. And part of the meditation, you slow down and you calm, and then you have an undeniable connection with source, with spirit, with God. And then I understood through that intensive that it was the energy and of Gurasana, a current day incarnation of God, that what I was connecting to. So yes, this intensive was brought in by an incarnation, and that energy, that power that comes into your body, that I connected to in my body, and that happens to everybody that worked hard, that begged for it, not from the mind, but the sense, that kernel of spirit needed to come back to source, needed to connect. And that happens. I just want to bring in the notion of an incarnation of God without polluting it with any kind of dogma, religion, sin, my God, your God. I know it's true. I know it's real. I'm connected to it. I live my life from that connection. And I'm not the only one. There's a big group of people. Everything, what we have now to offer in Center of the Golden One is called the Gateway Seminar.
And so I'm just inviting people to come and see if you can't find an overwhelming, undeniable experience of God from source within, because that's what we're saying is possible.
Yes, so 2.5 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
The people are ready. Thank you very much for sharing from your heart as a friend.
I love you.
I love you too. And now it's time for another metaphysical moment with Swara. Today is a special day. It's spring. And on March 24th, every year, my spiritual community celebrates the life of David Swanson. So who is David Swanson? I'll give you a hint. David Swanson has something to do with a birth of an incarnation. So I don't know all the details of the history, but I do know that David Swanson was a very serious devotee, and he fervently wanted truth from spirit, from God, from source. And from what I can remember, stories I've heard years ago, he would spend days and hours, long periods of time, weeks, maybe even, in solitude, eating very simple foods, meditating every day, burning desire for God, for truth. And if I recall correctly, the story goes, he had a deity statue. He, in the course of a meditation, he had a vision of energy that came out of this deity. I believe it was Krishna, flute playing Krishna, 3-foot thing. And I don't know, from there, I just know he had that experience. And over time, what happened was that Garasana from Spirit Realm started to channel through David Swanson. And what's unique to an incarnation versus a channel, from my understanding, is that a channel is when talented psychics, mediums, people somehow or other have the ability to connect to spirit realm and then allow ascended masters or spiritual entities from spirit realm to come into their bodies and speak through them and deliver messages for humankind, for mankind, humankind. Now, Alex Ferrari has a podcast called Next Level Soul that I love. And he often interviews channels. I can't believe how many people I've seen come on as a channel or as someone who had a near-death experience and went to spirit realm, but then came back with messages from spirit. There's so many different people who've had some similar experiences and different messages, mostly messages of hope and inspiration for very troubled times that we're in, and some perspectives that help paint a deeper meaning to why we're going through what we're going through as human beings on the planet Earth at this time. And as I understand it, he did have a small group of people around him. We would refer to those people as the core. And but his primary female relationship and another woman he called the lady. You've heard me talk about the lady before. But as David Swanson was channeling Garasana, there came a point where, from what I understand, Garasana asked if David Swanson would be willing to step out and allow this incarnation, Garasana, not only to be channeled with temporary messages like all of the channels that we see, but to live and breathe and walk on Earth. Now, this happened in the late 80s in Southern California. And somehow or other, I found myself in Southern California in the late 80s. And David Swanson was the devotee that was channeling Garasana. And it's been many years since I've heard the story, so I can't give too many details. But from what I understand, it was a process for David Swanson to actually accomplish stepping out of the way so that Garasana could come into a body and be a human being in a human being form. And David Swanson went back to spirit source without ever dying in a body. From what I understand, something like that. But I think that's the difference between a channel, because in my best assessment, seeing what are the commonalities between all of the different channels and what differentiates these channels from the phenomenon of an incarnation. And that is still, from what I see, filters for the ones who are channeling. Now, some of these channelers are very good at getting out of the way so Source can deliver information, very important information for all of us. But there's still a filter of that human being still present in there. And that's left up to in some form of interpretation based on the filter of the person doing the channeling. In the case of the Incarnation, what makes it so significant is that David Swanson was no longer present, that Garasana took over and walked for a number of years, long enough to deliver current day information, how to break free, achieve a full state of awareness, true enlightenment, and provided a meditation practice, which Wake Up and Dance is a pop-out version. It's not the full, complete depth of transformational experience that the Garasana meditation practice is. It's, it has a very specific purpose as a daily practice. So, but it does carry the flavor. I carry the flavor of this incarnation, and in fact, have come to some kind of understanding that I was born where I was born, into this life, into this body, from the messed up family that I was brought up into. I love you guys. But all of my life experiences have been divinely mapped out like a blueprint for this life, so that I am somehow or other a part of this incarnation phenomenon. I'm not saying I'm the incarnation, because I am not. I am not saying I'm a guru. I am not a guru. I am not a spiritual master. I'm not even a spiritual teacher. I'm just the colorful sheep in the family. Thank you, Mandy Straight, for that term. And I'm a musician. I'm a meditation enthusiast. And it is my desire to somehow or other find ways through the medium of art, through the medium of video, striving to find the words, but feeling much more confident in the language of music. Music being the language of the soul. So that is the story of the birth of a current day incarnation. And we must acknowledge Krishna, Buddha, all of the other well-known incarnations, but also the spiritual masters. There's multiple spiritual masters on planet Earth right now. And there's a number of spiritual teachers and more than one spiritual master, but I have to acknowledge the lady, a living spiritual master, directly part of this incarnation phenomenon. Grasna came in with the lady and Kalindi. And then there's an international circle of people who are holding the purity in a material organization, which is never going to be perfect. And it's an incredibly vulnerable thing for me to share, because people accuse me of being in a cult. And people close to me, my family, my own child, put me in this small box of cult and lost. And that's very painful to feel, because what about I had the guts to trust and listen. What if it's possible that God still cares, that Jesus isn't the one and only incarnation that ever came to planet Earth? That's a loop that a lot of people can't break out of, can't see. Irony is that it was when I was in Sunday school as a young child, I remember hearing the story of doubting Thomas, and I just prayed so fervently, and I just said, if you were in front of me, I would recognize you if it was you, Jesus. Or God, I love you, God. If you were to bring someone like Jesus, I'm not saying Grosna is the second coming of Jesus. I'm just saying my prayer is if you sent someone like Jesus who gave the information that we needed on planet Earth at this particular time in history, infused with power and clarity and potency, because there is a mass spiritual awakening happen right now, and there is new spiritual information for us and for those who feel pull. You know, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a nun, or I was attracted to that, but the no sex thing kind of made it not an option for me. Anyway, it's a very vulnerable thing for me to talk about, maybe one of the most vulnerable things to talk about, knowing that there are people who will just say you're in a cult. But I've been in this cult and left the cult, come back in, and never not connected in a space of love. No one tried to kidnap me or talk me into coming back. No, respect, kindness, like what is going on here is about love. It is about truth, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, letting go of unworthiness, letting go of jealousy, blame. We're all so interconnected, and it's a matter of waking up to that interconnectedness. And all I know is that I have witnessed, I have experienced meditations, and for 30 years of having a part of me that was, the jury is out. Like, well, we'll see, we'll see if this is true. But year after year, decade after decade of practicing the practices, studying the teachings, I can't feel anything but benevolence, pure truth, pure love that is meant to last for a very long period of time and to carry us through the very precarious times we're in currently. So this is my way of giving. This is my way of cultivating love by being genuine and honest and vulnerable. And this meditation is incredibly ecstatic, but it's a practice, and we've got to start somewhere. So let's start with wake up and dance. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being present. My heart overflows with love and gratitude. All I can say is, don't let your heart be hardened, and maybe try and consider the possibility that it's true. I wish you well on your journey wherever you go. And I know this is not for everyone, but there is a calling. There is a calling of many, many, many souls, thousands of people who don't want just a spiritual trip. They want what's real. They want to complete the cycle of birth and death. Stop reincarnating into such a cruel world. From what I have been taught, breaking free yourself, becoming fully self-aware, finding true enlightenment is the greatest gift that you can give to the world, to yourself, and to the true realm of existence. I see with my energy eyes all of these energy beings. I have a cast of characters dedicated to my success. And so do you. I want to help you open your eyes so that you can see the assistance that's here now, very real on planet Earth. That's my desire for you. What is your desire? I only want to support what your desire is. Let's meditate wherever we are on the spectrum and find a way to have tolerance, acceptance, and graciousness towards the many different ways that we approach God. Whether this incarnation, a different incarnation, it's all one. I wish you many blessings. This has been Another Metaphysical Moment with Swara. This is my story by Yogi Swara. Stories of sitting with a spiritual master, of living in modern day spiritual ashrams, and living a lifestyle of yogic practices. I often use imagery of space and astronauts because I don't feel like I am from planet Earth. Now, I don't identify as a starseed or have some story about where I come from other than the true realm of existence, spirit realm. I think we're all from spirit realm originally, and sometimes I feel very out of place because of my spiritual beliefs, because of my unique journey on the path towards self-realization, enlightenment. What is our purpose here on earth? And that's part of why I started Sacred Dance Sundays, because I want to create a space for people of all different walks to come and be together and transform together without judgment. And, there's some pretty far out ideas going on out there. For me, it's been a journey just to be public about my beliefs. I believe in God. I believe that God hears our prayers. And I believe that God sends assistance through human form. In incarnations, we know the famous ones, Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, and the spiritual masters. I have sacrificed a lot in my life to be in alignment with my spiritual convictions, meaning I've lost friends, I've lost the respect of family members during periods of time in my life when they didn't understand what choices I was making or why I was making them, seemingly very radical in their eyes. Decades later, of course, our capacity for loving connection despite our spiritual belief system differences is more important. But I do believe that an incarnation has come to Southern California in our lifetimes, that I happen to have met him and worked very closely with spiritual masters out of that incarnation. So this is me doing another step, kind of coming out of the closet. My version of being a God lover. I'm not trying to make anyone else believe what I believe. All I'm asking is that you give me the space for who I am and why I believe what I believe and why I do what I do. Ultimately, who cares? What matters is the love that we exchange. What matters is the acceptance and patience and tolerance, forgiveness and compassion and kindness that we can show to each other. This is my story. And believe it or not, I love you. Because I believe in God, and I believe that God has fulfilled the promise that I can find enlightenment in this lifetime. And that unending, ever-expanding love and ecstasy is ours to be had if we do the inner work of letting go and finding our way back home to our true spiritual realm within, not anyone else's opinions, not following anyone off of a cliff, just finding the truth inside. If you do have an opportunity to work with a spiritual master or someone who claims to be a guru, are you finding the love that you desire in the deepest part of your heart? That's all that really matters. I don't care how you get there. I just hope we can get there together. to Wake Up and Dance, an explanation of the energy fields we tap into in this powerful meditation practice and the different ways we can move our body to facilitate the many different frequencies of spiritual energy. We open by raising our hands above our head, palms together, bringing our hands down to heart center, moving back up to above our heads, the point of individualism where we connect to spirit, back down to our hearts, and back and forth as we connect to spirit in our hearts. In sacred geometry, the torus represents the flow of energy, the interconnectedness of all things, and the balance between the physical and spiritual realms. It's a symbol of the continuous cycle of creation, destruction, birth, and death, and the eternal nature of existence. So we move in every which different directions, contracting, expanding, cyclical, circles, portals. Next, we also work with our auric field. Our aura is the electromagnetic field that emanates from our body. Generally speaking, our auric field extends 2 feet from our body, from top to bottom, front to back, and side to side. Visualize a warm golden light that permeates our auric field as we expand our field into a wide open and expansive womb. From here, we invite divine presence to fill our auric field, to protect us and envelop us in all that is benevolent and sacred. In meditation, we activate our energy centers, also known as chakras, cleaning out any stuck or unwanted negative vibrational states of being. We contain thousands of chakra centers throughout our bodies, and we invite spirit to open up our 7 main chakras. Placing our hands on the top of our heads, we activate our divine consciousness through the crown chakra and activate our inner and outer beauty and spiritual connection. Moving down to our 3rd eye chakra, we place our hands on our forehead to illuminate our clairvoyance, intuition, imagination, and wisdom. Moving further down to our throat chakra, we open our communication center and ask that our words be filled with divine truth and that our self-expression be in alignment with our highest purpose. Moving down to the center of our chest, we activate our heart chakra, where our spiritual and material energy centers connect and how we connect with others in an activated state of love, joy, and inner peace. Moving down to our upper abdomen, above our navel, we activate our solar plexus, the energy center of our self-worth, confidence, and self-esteem. If you need more confidence, focus on opening and expanding this region in your meditation. Moving our hands below the navel, we enter into the sacral chakra, where we find the center of our womb energy and how to relate to our emotions, This is also the center of our creativity and sexuality. Moving down to the root chakra located at the base of our spine, we visualize roots extending down our legs into earth as we connect to our material reality in physical form, and the root to our vitality of life. In meditation, we also tap into the Kundalini energy, which moves up and down the spine. I like to call it my Kundalini energy because she is the one who taught me how to connect to transformational energy in meditation. Falling into the music, we are guided to realms within that are vastly beyond our mind's capacity to comprehend. We move our physical, emotional, and energy bodies to release unwanted energies and to be filled with guidance and wisdoms from God, benevolent spirit, source of love, and highest intelligence. Through embodied prayer, we connect to the essence of who we are beyond material manifestation. Feel free to watch and learn by observing in an open, receptive state of being. Jump in and start moving when the urge pulls you out on the dance floor, or simply witness in a judge-free state of mind. If a musical track comes on that you have a hard time connecting to, consider it an opportunity to move past whatever is blocking you from flowing with whatever shows up in this sacred space.
مرسو تيريو قلبيكم مصروف المانداي لا 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 مولاي جيد مقول بيحيو منكي وبحي مشغول سيو شنيدو مالبكي كميري جرداد مركاتي رسي معان ساداي دلالي مولاي جيد مقول بيحيو منكي وبحي مشغول سيو شنيدو مالبكي كميري جرداد مركاتي رسي معان ساداي مقور سنباتاي اللحمي ذبككم الدهاي مسيديدو مركالي ومالي ما يبالو نرتونا اسم مقور سنباتاي مربانيني ونكالو مقنبي الملاهي من بي كسور مرتو مشغولي مركب مرسو تيريو قلبيكم مصروف المانداي لا 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 مرباني وكرو مقنبي عن ملاهي من بي كسور مرتو مشغولي مركب مرسو تيريو قلبيكم مصروف المانداي لا 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 لا